Hello, Wolfpack fans, and welcome to a Spring 2018 edition of Wolfpack Watch. My name is Doug Wood. I'm your host, and in case you've been living under a rock and do not know what's been going on in the off-season for the North Paulding Wolfpack, we have a brand new head football coach here at North. His name is Coach Bryant, and we welcome him for the first edition of Wolfpack Watch. Coach Bryant, thank you for joining me.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you come from, and what you've been doing for the past 20-some years?
All right. I was born and raised in a small town in North Carolina called Williamston, North Carolina. Played football, baseball, basketball there. Graduated, went to Guilford College to play football. Played there for 2 years. Got banged up pretty bad my sophomore year as a starting quarterback with 4 freshman offensive linemen. So I transferred to East Carolina University, finished up there. Went back to my old high school at Williamston and was offensive coordinator there for my old head coach for 7 years. We played in 3 state championships, won one in 1999. Left there, took my first head job at a small 2A school at Green Central High School. Won 3 conference championships there in 5 years. Left to take a job at Havelock to turn around a program that had been a storied program in North Carolina in 3A, but had fallen on hard times. They were 7-26 to 3 years prior to us taking over. We won 8 games our first year, and then we played in the Eastern Finals 7 of the next 9 years and played for 4 state championships, won 3. My last year, 2016, there we lost by 1 point in triple overtime in the Eastern Finals with a chance to go to a 5th state championship. Left to take a job in the mountains at Morganton at Freedom High School last year. Some things were promised that did not happen. So I looked for other jobs, and I had 20 and a half years in North Carolina, so I could early retire from North Carolina, partial retire, and then saw the North Paulding job and interviewed for the job and came down. And right now, everybody loves me because we're undefeated.
Absolutely. What you said the retirement up in North Carolina, so that sort of pushed you in a direction of looking for a job in another state. I mean, it's kind of interesting to see a high school football coach move from one state to another. You know, it begs the question, how did you get here? Right.
Well, you know, North Carolina, we played they play really good football in North Carolina, but as far as from a state standpoint, from our state offices, football is not a priority in North Carolina. As we don't have spring practice in North Carolina. You know, there's just a lot that needs to be fixed in North Carolina that, you know, a lot of coaches are looking to jump the border and go to South Carolina or Georgia, and some have gone to Virginia and Tennessee. You know, as far as a financial standpoint goes, as far as coaches' salaries, much better in Georgia than what it is in North Carolina, as well as much more support in Georgia for the football program and athletics as a whole. And you know, Georgia is a football-rich state, and I want to go somewhere. You know, I'm a competitor. I want to go somewhere and see if all the things that I've been doing in North Carolina, if it's going to you know, translate into coming to a football state like Georgia and do the same things I was doing in North Carolina and bring it to Georgia football and North Paulding High School.
Well, you have certainly gotten yourself into a deep situation. We're a 7A school, obviously.
Yes, sir.
We're in a very tough region. We have quite a few rivalries even outside of our region. How have you been indoctrinated into that information so far? What do you know? What have people told you? What do you expect based on what you've been told?
Well, I knew coming in that the 7A region in Georgia is probably one of the toughest regions in the country. And again, as a competitor, that intrigues me. And you know, coming in, you know, playing teams like Marietta or Hillgrove and McEachern, and you know, some of your better teams, and then some of your Paulding County teams that, you know, obviously is a natural rivalry with, you know, East Paulding, Paulding County, South Paulding, Hiram. You know, all of those teams are you know, natural rivalries for North Paulding, and you know that really excites me as a coach. You know, gets my juices flowing again as a football coach. And I tell our kids all the time that everything in life is a competition. And that I hate to lose at anything I do. If I'm playing checkers, I want to beat your tail. And you know, so you know, going into every Friday night, I tell our kids that we're we're going to put the best product that we have on the field, and we're going to play our tails off until the end of the game, and then we're going to let the scoreboard speak for itself at the end. But we're going to play the kids that are going to do what they're supposed to do on the field and off the field. And I've told them from day one, whether we go 10-0 or 0-10, myself and my coaches are going to enjoy coaching football. And we're not going to coach kids that aren't going to do the right things on and off the field. If it's a kid that's constantly going to cause a problem or constantly not do what he's supposed to do on the football team, then that'll be one kid that we'll do without. And, that's how we're going to go into the season. Our kids are, right now, the kids that we have are working hard during the spring, and we're excited about rolling into spring practice and getting ready for the upcoming season.
Well, now that I know that Coach Bryant is trying to win this interview here, at least I know what I'm up against.
Competition.
Competition, that's right. Tell me what it was like the first time you talked to the team after you came.
It was good. I came in, and the first time I met him, Dr. Crow and Coach Cherry introduced me to him right after the board approved me the night before. I had to sit on that for like 2.5 weeks after I was offered the job and accepted it because the board hadn't approved me. Therefore, I couldn't tell my team at Freedom, which I think is important for a coach that's leaving to talk to his team face-to-face and not just send an email or just leave. So I wanted to do that. Well, it came out on Facebook the night before I had a chance to talk to my players because the board had approved me here. So that was a tough conversation, talk with my players the next day after they had already heard. Coming in, meeting the team here for the first time, I think the majority of the returning players were in the meeting. Talked to them about some new things that we're going to be doing at North Paulding to kind of excite them and get their juices flowing about football. Talked to them about the turnover chain that Miami does, and that we're going to have our own spin on that. We're going to have the turnover teeth. So we get a turnover, they come to the sideline. They get a mouthpiece, a gold mouthpiece with dollar signs on it. That's theirs. They don't exchange it after another turnover.
Let's hope not.
That's right. They keep the turnover teeth for the remainder of the game, and then they go back to a normal mouthpiece the next week, and they keep those as like trophies. And we also have the touchdown tattoo. So we've got a stamp with a North Paulding N with the wolf on it that says touchdown. So when they score a touchdown, come to the sideline and we stamp them. Moms, they do wipe off, so it's not going to be a permanent deal. So, that's some of the little things that I talked to them about. And, told them, my name is Jim Bob, and it's a really good Georgia name, but not to get it twisted, that I had a little bit of flavor. So, I speak many languages, and I think nowadays, you've got to be able to talk to all age groups from all different backgrounds, and I think that's something that I excel at.
One of the things that I know that we have here versus some of the other programs, even in state and in other states that I'm aware of, we have a very large program. I mean, the varsity roster for the 4.5 years I've been announcing here has been almost 100 deep every year. Is that something you're used to with that many kids in the program, or are you used to a smaller roster? How do you think you're going to manage that type of thing?
Well, we've in the past, the largest team I've had from 9th through 12th grade has been right at 100 kids. Okay, so. And we didn't have any freshmen. We didn't have a freshman team. In North Carolina, I had a JV and a varsity. The thing about Georgia is you have the 6-quarter rule each week. So those kids that play in the JV game can actually dress out and play in the varsity game as well. We're going to change that up a little bit this year. I'm not going to dress out every sophomore through senior is not going to dress out with the varsity. Everything in our program has got to be earned. So before they get their first helmet sticker on their helmet, they've got to earn it by getting their first win. They've got to make it to all their spring practices before they get a helmet sticker on the back of their helmet. So, we reward when you do things right and when you win. I think that's what's partially wrong with our society now is everybody gets a trophy. Everybody gets a participation trophy. Everybody gets a certificate. You don't want to say this, you don't want to do this, because you don't want to hurt Johnny's feelings. Well, once they get out in the real world, that's not going to be the case, And I told the kids the first time I met them, I said, you're always going to know where you stand with me. I'm always going to be honest. I'm always going to be upfront, sometimes to a fault. I said, but the life's not always sunshine and rainbows. I said, so if you make the varsity, if you're lucky enough to make the varsity, then you'll be on the varsity. You'll be penciled in as a player on the varsity, but penciled in also means that you can be erased. So I'm not just going to bring up 100 kids on Friday night if they didn't earn it. If they didn't earn a first, second, or third team spot on the varsity, then they'll just play JV on Thursday nights and will not dress out on the varsity.
Interesting. Sounds like a incentive-based program.
Everything we do is incentive-based.
That is very nice to hear. You've got spring practice coming up here pretty soon. I think you guys are preparing for that. We have a spring game, I guess, at Rome?
At Rome.
That we're going to play this year. So, unfortunately, I don't get to announce that game this year, Wolfpack fans, which may be fine because I'm a little bit busy with baseball right now. But that said, what are you looking forward to in the spring? What are you working with them on? And what are you looking forward to with this game up against the, what are they, the 4A or 5A twice defending state champions?
Yeah, two-time 5A state champions.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. Well, they're a very well-coached team,
Yes.
and they get after it. And that's, coming in, having a chance to get to see a great team like that early on, but will let us know. We'll be able to test our mettle right from jump and find out what we've got. We're gonna play a lot of players in that game because most of our guys that are returners, we know they can play. So that's a game for me. Then I want to look at some of our younger players and see how they respond under fire and under pressure. So that'll be a measuring stick for us to which kids we think we can win games with on Friday night, because we can't, with the caliber of kids that we have, we're going to have to play a couple of kids both ways here and there, which most of the teams in our region don't have to do. But we're going to have to play a couple of kids both ways, and we're going to probably play somewhere between 8 and 12 wide receivers on offense. So we've got to find 8 to 12 wide receivers that can play, because we're going to be playing at a much faster pace than what we've been playing. But our kids have been meeting during the spring. They've been coming before school at 7:30, 4 mornings a week, meeting with our staff, with our coaching staff. We have our defensive staff meet with the players on Tuesday morning. Offensive staff meets with them on Monday morning. Wednesday morning we bring them in, the whole team, and we do a character development lesson. I teach them a lesson on character development, then we watch a short video, something I found on YouTube dealing with that lesson. And then Thursday, the kids come out on their own. We take roll, but then we send them out on the field on their own with no coaches out there, and they do individual skill work on their own at 7:30 before school. So I chart everything. And again, like you said, everything is incentive-based. So we're going to have a draft when we get back from spring break. And our players voted on 6 captains. So we have 6 captains right now. We announced those captains today. Those captains will come back. The Monday we get back, the 9th. So we adopted a Willy Wonka deal, the golden ticket.
Very nice.
So if you made spring practice and if you made our draft, then I go on all 5 lunches on Monday and I present you with the North Paulding golden ticket. You get the golden ticket, you're allowed to come to the draft, and you'll be on the team during the spring. If you didn't make the required number of days that we ask you to make meeting-wise, you can still play football, but you're not coming to the draft and you're not coming to spring practice. You now have to make our team as a walk-on. So just like college programs have walk-ons, we have a walk-on program too, that if a kid can't make it to meetings and obviously we can't make that mandatory, but it's also not mandatory that they come to our draft and to our spring practice. Right. It's not mandatory they make the team in August.
Right.
So, everything that we do is incentive-based. So we'll give these tickets out on Monday, and then we'll have the PFL draft, the Pack for Life draft, April 11th on a Wednesday night, 7 o'clock in the auditorium. We ask everybody to come out. It's going to be a great night of fun, football, and fellowship. I'll be the commissioner. Maybe I won't get booed like he does. But our 6 captains will be on the stage. All the players will be there dressed in their Sunday best. And we'll go through the draft just like the NFL draft. And then those teams compete for points all spring and summer. And we give incentives every week. And we give awards at the end of the spring and summer for whichever team wins.
That sounds like a really fun competition. I actually might have to attend that just to see what it looks like. I hope it doesn't conflict with my schedule. Final question, Coach. You're coming into a rather large program. It's new to you. The area is new to you. The football down here is new to you. What type of expectations do you have? And I know you say you're going to compete and try to win as many games because that's what you are here to do. But realistically, what type of expectations do you have for the program? Not just for this year, but long term, as many years as you might stay here.
Well, I've told our coaching staff and I've told our players that I'm not my plan is not to be here for 1 year and leave. I didn't leave North Carolina and leave 9 years of retirement on the table to come to Georgia to stay 1 year and leave. So my plan is to continue to build the program here. If I just wanted to build a one team season and just have as good a team as I can put on the field for 1 year, then I would keep the kids that aren't doing the right things. I would keep the kids that aren't working out and they're getting in trouble in school and not doing what they're supposed to do. But we're trying to build a program that'll withstand the test of time. So we're going to go ahead and lay that groundwork now. We may lose some players this year because the discipline that myself and my coaching staff are trying to instill in these guys is probably something that, you know, that they're not used to the level that we're going to push them to. But I think if we're going to win games on Friday night, we're going to win because we're going to be a more disciplined team, and that we're going to know how to respond to adversity in the fourth quarter. And our expectations is to go undefeated every year. That's our expectations: go undefeated non-conference, to go undefeated in the conference, to win the region, and to win a state championship. That's going to be our expectations every year. I think if you set your expectations any lower than that, then you're selling the kids, you're selling the program, and you're selling the community short. I don't think you go into a season and do all the hard work that we do and say, guys, we want to win 6 games this year. You know, that's just not something that we want to instill in our kids. You know, because we want them to get out and understand that every Friday night is going to be a battle, and that we can win every Friday night. And I've told our kids, if we can keep it close until the fourth quarter, then we're going to win a lot of football games in the fourth quarter, because there's not going to be any teams that we play that's going to be in better shape than we are, and it's going to be more disciplined, and it's going to be more battle tested in the fourth quarter than what we are, because we put them in adverse situations every day in the weight room, on the field when we're doing speed and agility training, and everything that we preach is competition. We'll end every day of spring and summer workouts with a competition on the field, so they know how to respond under pressure, and when the game is on the line, then they'll know how to respond and make plays.
That sounds incredibly awesome. I can't wait to see this team in action, not only at the spring game against Rome, but these competitions with the draft that you speak of, the summer workouts, and then obviously the schedule, and the team gets kicked off in August. We will be back with another session of Wolfpack Watch sometime during the summer to give Coach Bryant a chance to update us on the progress of everything that's been going on and getting us ready for the season. Coach Bryant, I want to thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
We look forward to everything that you have to bring to the North Paulding Wolfpack community.
I appreciate it. I'm excited about it. And I've got a few dates to throw out there, if I can throw that out there.
Absolutely. Let's go for it.
All right. So March 29th, which is today, all right, we had our Pack for Life, PFL, the Pack for Life draft. Our captains were announced today over the announcements at the school. April 9th, our golden tickets that I referred to earlier will get passed out through all 5 lunches. April 11th will be our Pack for Life draft at 7 o'clock at the North Paulding Auditorium. It's $5. April 12th, we'll do X-Tech shoulder pads here for the kids that raised enough money during the lift-a-thon at 3:30. Raised close to $25,000 at our lift-a-thon in a 2-week period. Really good. The kids did a great job. Had 68 kids break personal records on their lifts in the weight room that day. From what I can understand, it was the largest lift-a-thon that we've ever had here by numbers of the kids. April 14th will be registration. For high school, 9 to 11 a.m. will be 11th and 12th graders will register here and get your equipment. 11 a.m. to 1 will be 9th grade and 10th graders here will register as well as get their equipment. April 24th, we're doing physicals here at the high school. And it's incentive-based physicals. We count days during the summer, how many days they're here. If they come and get a physical for $20, that counts as 10 summer days. Even if they make all their other summer days, if they don't get the physical before April 24th or on April 24th, they will not make their summer days. So we want them all there so we don't have to be hunting them down before spring practice. May 7th is our start of our JV and varsity spring practice at 3:45. May 12th, this is another competition. That Saturday of the first week of spring practice, we will have a NFL-style combine in the stadium. Those 6 teams will compete against each other in a 40-yard dash, shuttle run, a broad jump, and a bench press repetition for points, and we'll award trophies at the end for the first place team. Then May 18th will be our spring game at Rome High School at 7 p.m., and then that'll kick us into summer heat for our summer workouts.
If that doesn't sound exciting, I don't know what does. because he's got this this schedule really tight. Get those physicals, kids. We do this for baseball too, and it's somewhat frustrating when you don't get them on time. We'd like to thank everybody for joining us. And like I said, we'll be back during the summer to catch up with Coach Bryant and catch up on the progress leading into our fall season and getting this Wolfpack season kicked off. Thank you for joining us.